Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer1745 here with my continuing playthrough of Hearts of Iron 4 with the Road to 56 mod. We are playing it, and we're going to play generally a historical, just chatting with some of the people here on Twitch as we play this. About the possible unrealistic elements of the Road to 56. But we're going to, okay, so they made a landing down here. Which is smart of them, especially if they can take Nanjing before China can react to it. Send an attaché to Japan. I guess that's probably the best thing to do, as opposed to send one to China, if they'll accept it. Okay. We have the political power. And we have the military power. They will not accept. What does China think? They will accept. So we're going to send it to China. Now, historically, there was military attaché in China, very big time. Van Schkiet, I'm sure I'm butchering his name. He is the main person that's responsible for setting up the Reichswehr after World War I, the main military leader of Germany for some of the period in the 20s. And I'm not exactly sure why he left that job after a while. But he comes out to China and helps set up the Chinese military. And then he dies out in China, and I forget right off who it was that takes over command. But Germany is responsible for training, I think it's 3 divisions. I know that the 88th Division is one of them. That was one of the elite divisions, actually destroyed right around here. Trying to defend the path towards Nanjing. And it was one of the elite German equipped, wearing the German helmets, but they also had Panzer I tanks. And so if you know the dates, that was still in 36. I collect pictures for possible use in events, and I have one picture that's it's not an aerial, but it's way high above it, so they got into some, I don't know, water tower or something rather damn high, maybe a high building. And saw a really long train that lots of people were loading stuff into them, and they had at least one in a huge long flag, big Nazi swastika flag, and that was to get out, and so that I think it was leaving Nanjing at the time, because it was a little bit later before they did any landings down here, and it was going to go to Shanghai. I believe, maybe one of the other ports, I don't know for sure. But it was getting out the main group of Germans, and they just did not want to be strafed by the Japanese, so they used that to say, hey, look, this is a German train, don't attack us. And have another picture of a bunch of U.S. Sailors that are equipped for ground combat, because they needed more troops. So they all had, rifles with ammo belts and Lewis machine guns and whatnot. And they're all lined up and formed up on a pier that's, going out into the water, that has a corrugated metal roof on it, that has a big, huge swastika flag painted onto it. So most of it's red. It's a black and white photo, but most of it you would know that it was red. And so the U.S. was specifically, they were reinforcing, this was one of the times they were reinforcing, I think around 37, 38, the Shanghai garrison. and the U.S. was using the German dock so as not to be bombed by the Japanese. And so that's when they were still cooperating with the Nazis. Yes. Good link there, Arno. And so, yeah, Germany very much did. But at about this time is when they withdraw it from Japan, because Hitler's ideologically decided to favor Japan for ideological reasons, more so than any other ones. Okay. Well, see if we do. Looking at this before. If we now currently switch over to it won't be until 40 that we do another round. We research these two aircraft and do so under Bloom and Voss. We will have better maritime patrol and torpedo bombers. And then if we switch and have the points and switch over to Messerschmitt, when we get ready to do the fighters, we'll have better, 109s and whatnot. So we'll do this, and then we'll come over here and we'll start with maritime patrol. The corner of this is to do a bombing version, I do believe. Looks like 2 bombs falling. Research technology enables BF-110 C4B Jabo. I'm guessing that's a ground attack version. I'm guessing that is as well. This one up here enables the Condor. Okay, that's interesting. I know what that is. We may want to grab that. That would be a rather long-range light. The Condor is really a long-range light bomber. It could carry a very light load, though it was a 4-engine bomber, but it was structurally very, very weak. The reason it was structurally very, very weak is it was designed to be a transatlantic aircraft, and they did fly it that way without doing any of the water landings in that time. So yeah, no, I want to try to build the Condors. I like the Condor. Like I say, it's a weak airframe, so it's far from ideal. But it does allow. Okay, we have maritime patrol, so we're going to add torpedo bombers as well. And we come over here. Okay, we just got the which one did we just get? Probably going to do the Austria next. Forget which one it was. Lebensraum, no. Organize the political sphere, I don't think so. Ew. Oh, it was this one. Okay, so we got that. Let's take a quick look at Austria first, just to see what they're doing. Subsidize capex. Well, now research. Okay, research bonus. Now that one. Research. We don't care about their research because they'll lose all that once we get them. So let's go with push button. Get Austria. I've got a thing that's so well worked out that would add to that. Makes it so much more interesting. The fall of Beijing. Japan issues diplomatic protests. Japanese envoys have lodged diplomatic protests with our government regarding the presence of our attaché in nations they are currently in a military conflict with. They demand the immediate recall of our military mission. This is a reasonable request. Due to our relevant strength, our opinion of them will... We're going to leave our attaché there, just to go, partially because I want to build up the army experience. Hitler visits Rome. Adolf Hitler went to the Italian capital for a state visit. After arriving at the newly finished Ostine railway station, the king and the Duce warmly welcomes the Fuhrer. They're driven across the Via Adolf Hitler that was made especially for Hitler's visit. Okay. I have some better versions of that, but yep. So, they're currently guaranteeing and they has docking rights. Okay, Italy pursues closer bonds with Germany, and we can invite them to our faction. I guess we'll do that. Interwar artillery, very good. I want to get these Jaegers. Now let's take a look at our oil situation here. Now I want to build some more military factories first. What do we need? Do we still... Okay. This is just because we must have recently got a bunch of infantry divisions. Okay, yeah, now we're all back to green. So we're producing more than we need currently for our. We have 10 infantry, or no, 9. Well, no, 7. Boy, I'm not counting well. Infantry divisions currently, 1 mountain division in product or in training, I should say. Tanks, trucks, lots of trucks. So let's add a motorized and a tank division to the production queue. More support equipment. So that tells me I need more support equipment. Fuel refining too, very good. That is also partially what I'm counting on to help here between synthetic and non-synthetic. These are all way too in the future. Let's do radio detection. And how are the Japanese doing? Pretty good. Now, I don't know specifically in the Road to 36, and that's part of why we're playing it, because it seems to be a relatively popular mod, and we want to just see what it's like. But in our last Man the Guns straight series, we saw China very much holding out against Japan. And then, of course, once Russia comes in, we see Russia defeating China or Japan on land. Well, what does that mean, Ari? Can't win. You mean can't defend itself? That would be fairly bad. I don't expect China to be able to push Japan off of the continent. Oh, I'm not disagreeing with your buffs stuff, but we're going to see, because we can see a really stupid AI. Okay. So we've got Austria. Very good. That will be a major stepping stone to getting more resources of various types. Okay. Alsace, claim that. Not just yet. Befriend, demand. Not yet. We might just wait till 38 to do that. Partially side with the autarchs. Nationalize the aviation industry. Yeah. And now only one factory more? I only have one military? They got a bunch of military factories. There we go. the big jump I was looking for. Okay. Light tanks for sure. We'll do 2 of those. This we will allow us hopefully go 1, 1, 1, and we'll do another anti-tank. And since it's a thing here, we're going to build some armored cars to get them into production. Hopefully we can research some better ones. Let's put some transports into production. We'll see if that will help out. And lots of trucks in production, so we're going to grab 2 more rifle. Okay, Ari, I'm believing you. I'm not disbelieving you. I just don't, quite honestly. How do I put this? I really, you know, don't know that any of this is really going to give us good details, but how do I put this? I don't really care what the buffs are or aren't. I care about how well they mirror history. In that depending on is it making them too weak or too strong relative to Japan? That kind of thing. So what the details of them are not important, but if we watch them crumble and Japan have no difficulty in conquering them, then it's a problem. If we watch China kick Japan out of the mainland of the Asian continent, then there's a problem. Sort of how I look at it. Just a second. Okay. Looks like we need more rubber. So, who do we want to get rubber from? Netherlands only has 1, all the rest is in the Dutch East Indies, but well, let's get our rubber from them. And we'll hopefully allow Japan to take over any factories that get built down there. Okay, now this is what we were looking to get here. Army defense, armored army. Yeah, let's do that now. Ah, how interesting, Brett. How interesting. Great, Brett. As soon as I log in, I will do so after the stream and accept your request to join automatically, of course. And in about, like I was saying, there's the new World War mode, and so if you're playing, Brett, somewhere between probably 8 and 12 hours from now, I will be playing World War mode as the squadron is. So if you're available, obviously if you're not, I totally understand. But you're most welcome and invited, and I think we're going to build anti-aircraft gun. I value anti-armor more than anti-aircraft, but okay. Of course, that goes for any and all of you, even you watching on YouTube later. Love to have you join the squadron. You can search for team_gamer. We'll be playing the World War modes, possibly other squadron battles as time goes on. Okay, we got better. Okay, oh, let's see. We have Navy experience is now 60. So, let's see. We were to do mine warfare. Okay, yeah, I guess this is what we want to do. We want to come here. We'll do mine warfare in the rear. I guess we need to duplicate it first. Duplicate. Save. Here we go. So this should create, oh, let's 1936, let's rename this. (1936) mine layer, hopefully that would be that, and we'll be able to no problem, Brett. Just if it's good for you. Gamer the engine. Okay, well, maybe I made a mistake there. Let's take a look. We can cancel that build. We have caps lock. Line layer 2. Okay, we're gonna no. We're gonna come back here and we're gonna cancel this, trash it. Yep. Nothing was really produced there. Okay, and now line layer 2. Better engine. There we go. And we can come to the better maritime patrol craft. Excavation, very good. So, we've got all the way, we haven't done the conversion. I'm not doing too much conversion of equipment. Fire direction. We'll do that. And we're going to create heavy bomber Falkwolf, or Condor. Why did I say Falkwolf? Well, it's made by Falkwolf, but the Condor. Go for radar. But we're doing the radio detection. We've got to get through that first. This is just fire control. This isn't proper radar. We won't get radar until 38, and I don't know if you're looking at something on the ships. Those probably require some level of basic radar first. Damage control and fire control methods would be a useful thing to do. Fall of Nanjing. Okay, well. What area losses in this war? You mean in China? We can see up at the top here, around Beijing and over in Japan, or Nanjing in south. This is doing pretty well for the Japanese. France and Britain announce an alliance. Why would they do that? I think that was really, well, I'd have to look at that a little more carefully. No, not sure how to check for other regions. Really don't normally check those kind of stats, Ari. So if you can give me a hint as just in the diplomacy screen here. So I know, but that doesn't give me the war losses. World tension. Okay. Okay. Current wars. So currently we can see the Japanese war there. Okay, interesting. I normally don't care enough about seeing this, but okay. So they've had quite a few 100,000 lost. Japan has had more, well, with its a little bit of its allies, a little more higher losses actually. So that's interesting. Yeah, I'm actually sort of surprised on that. I don't know if that's because they're being offensive minded or if there's something else involved with that. Now, I know why some of these are real low, just because the war isn't in their area or whatever. They're back down here. Although they may have sent some troops up to the front, they're not a major stuff. So we'll see how this goes. We've established the DAF, which really was established well before this time period. Now Volkswagen. Consumer goods, 3%. Normally the way that means is it normally adds 3% to the amount of consumer goods. Stability plus 5%, construction speed plus 10%, which is sort of what we're looking at here. Improved Enigma, though we want to be able to get some of these total war. 5-factor, 8-factor engines. Now the Volkswagen, they definitely started to build more. Started to build that before the war. But that Volkswagen factory really is actually a war factory. Because in case you didn't know it, the Kübelwagen, the German Jeep, if you will, is a Volkswagen, basically. Yeah, it looks a little different, but both have the rear engine. It's both basically the same thing. And the Germans, the Americans through with the Jeep was a 4-wheel drive vehicle. The Kübelwagen was just a 2-wheel drive vehicle, and it was just done light enough that if it gets stuck, everybody out and push, kind of thing. So it was very cheap to produce that. Okay. Autarkic government, synthetic refinery. Okay, well, the one thing I see here is construction speed down 5%, military construction speed plus 5%. And the way I understand that, in looking into it, that is a 5% negative to construction speed overall, but with the 5% plus to military construction speed, it means there's no negative effects to military construction. But we do get the research speed, land doctrine, research and recruitable populations, max factories and state. Those are all very good. So we're going to do this first. Excuse me. To get our construction speed up before doing that. So we're going to go with that. Is there a focus for the Africa Corps? I don't think there is, though I haven't read the full tree. Now, I don't know what you're expecting necessarily, whether you have something that gives some free units or something else. Now there is, I was noticing when I found the Jaeger stuff, they do have specialty troop types, you know, parachuter. The first three, of course, we're used to, but they do have desert infantry, plus jungle specialists and shock troops. Going way back, and I agreed. At first, I thought it was a bit of a gimmick, but looking into it, going back all the way to the old Dig DLC for Hearts of Iron 3, having special desert armor units for Germany. And then doing a little bit of research into the Africa Corps. Those tanks, basically, and some of the other vehicles, before being sent to North Africa, were sort of desertized. More air filters and similar things to keep the sand out of the engine, and set up to be able to carry more fuel off, you know, in external fuel cans and other things. It wasn't just painting them tan. They went and actually, with the tanks, made them set up for desert operations more so than regular armor units. So I do really see that, particularly in the armor area, specialized troops or units for that, and it's a good thing. Okay, Yugoslavia requests sales of airplanes. Strategic weakness, Yugoslavia. Okay, now this reduces bombers, fighters, can't spare anything. 25 medium bombers, 50 fighters. Well, let's look at our fighters. We got a lot. Medium bombers, we got a lot. So we'll go with the 25 medium bombers. Radio detection, that's good. So we got that. Now we're in 38. Let's come over. We can get a basic rubber plant, which will help us to not need to import rubber, which is going to be a very real thing. Yeah, IKB. They must have known to some degree about the pink armor, because they were fighting, you know, the long-range desert group, and I do know that the long-range desert group lost some of their Chevy trucks. That's the ones that they were using, the converted Chevy trucks, and that the Germans captured some of them, and I presume some of them were pink, because they still use some of the some were done in tan too. So I don't know for sure what they captured and didn't capture. Okay, now that we got the Jaeger troops, let's see what let's look at these. Okay, just 4 square Jaeger. Not much of a unit. of the computing machine. Now, of course, the Germans might have decided, we don't care how invisible we're going to be. If they ever do actually catch us, we'll look silly in the pink vehicles, so no way in hell are we going to actually drive around in pink vehicles. They may have actually decided that. You know, that old death before dishonor type viewpoint. I noticed the British never actually did dye their uniforms pink. Just imagine the British running around in pink uniforms. Okay, we've established Volkswagen. And we're going to now come over here, get this. So the Japanese are doing well. Indian National Congress, triumphs in provincial elections. Okay, how many anti-tank guns do we have? 800. Let's see if we were to come here to our basic infantry division. Oh, we need 1,600. Wow, that's a lot. Okay. Now, if we come over here for infantry battalions and add an artillery. Ooh, we need a lot more artillery too. Okay. So that also tells me we need more military factories. Though we're experimenting, of course, to see how much we also need. Yeah, well, I think the autarchs. Well, if you're planning on war for Germany, that's sort of the best path. Who wouldn't go? Yeah, well, of course that we're playing as Germany, but see if you're like looking, if you're playing as Britain, because you're going to be a trading nation and presumably you're not going to war with places like the US and most of Latin America, you can still trade with the rest of the world, but Germany, not so much. Now let's increase anti-tank guns. Hey, Brett, have you read up on the China Marines? Don't know if that is um, standard reading for Marines assigned to China now. I've done some reading on it, and it's fairly fascinating. Bulgaria has offered to join us. Yeah, I don't know why not. It's awfully early, but we'll let them in. Basic rubber plant. Very good. Needed that. I bet you could use more sleep. Surprised you're even watching this. But I also didn't know if you simply like read stuff on the airplane or whatever. Traveling out there. They have a very interesting history. And you're a modern day China Marine now. Not quite the same as the old days, I'm sure, but most of them were stationed down in the Shanghai area, but the fairly small garrison that was up in Beijing wore fur hats, at least during winter, because Beijing can get hot in the summer. I wondered if they kept some of those traditions. Okay. I guess we're gonna go with denounce this. I do plan on adding, generally, I think, engineers, yeah. Okay. Mongol United Autonomous Government issues diplomatic protest. They don't want me to recall. Well, we're getting a little bit of army experience. I don't know. I guess I don't care what Mongolia thinks of me. Well, they didn't like it when I said no to them before. It hurt me diplomatically with them. I don't know if that's going to be long-term damaging. The Panay incident, now that was an attack against the United States Navy on this river. It was fairly well up river when they attacked it. No, I haven't made all my selections yet. Oh, I have a lot more than I thought I did. Okay, I knew I had a couple hundred. Well, we'll get Frick in here as an advisor soon, though I don't know. Stability, daily fascism, support. A lot of these guys are just unuseful. You know, trade deal opinion plus 10%. I don't care. Political power. That would be nice. Let's go Blumenboss. Oh, we have them for both the ships and the planes right now. And what else might we do? Okay, motorized equipment, but weapons or artillery, which is likely to be our next research. Small arms weapons, 38. So that's going to be what we should be doing now that we've got these and that going. And artillery, we won't be seeing that until 39. So let's go with small arms. Hopefully we'll have the political power to switch over once we do. Okay, we're going to start building some rubber factories. Or synthetic rubber factories, or however you want to say that. Oh yeah, west wall. I think, where is it? There is a thing here, if I remember correctly, on it. Thought there was. Oh yeah, here. So we need to get we need to demand the Sudeten land, because we're not going to defend Czechoslovakia first before we can prepare to invade France and then the West Wall. This is not the best. Not the best way of doing it. I'm sorry. Okay. Construction speed. Yes, we want the construction speed now. Okay, well, I think until 1940. Hello, user. Yes, the Road to 56 is the mod that we're playing with. Well, and I have not researched any of the infantry weapons. No, not yet. We'll be doing that. But Brett, I am a I don't know, what would you call it? Sort of infrastructure first kind of guy. And so doing things like, since everything else, all the research is improved by having research speed sooner, so I do that first. So I look to see about those kind of things first, and I'm looking to see that I got all of my fighters that I want to do, or my aircraft, And then in 40, we're going to be upgrading to better, more maneuverable aircraft. And so that's when I'll swap over the from Blohm + Voss over to Messerschmitt as my main designer. So we want to get this and the MP38 and 39. So yeah. Yugoslavian fighter competition, air experience. Okay. I don't really see a problem with having them have. So yeah, and it's just the idea that before I get there, we'll get there. 1938 World Cup. We're filling up our oil pretty good. It's only the Navy's really using any plain boats out here. Now it's the Versailles Treaty. Okay. Now we'll do this again. This happened much earlier than 38, joining the Gestapo and the SS together. Kingdom of Romania wants to join. Well, that's happening way too early. We'll take them, but okay, so we get that better. So we got that. We're going to do that in 39. Let's see what these are. Yeah, that is oil building in the east is generally something I tend to do. We no longer, okay, yeah, but also when you look here, you can see the higher the percentage, 100% is the best for speed of build. So lower down here is actually pretty good. That's not so good. And so you can see it's sort of, how much infrastructure development levels and whatnot for the province. So I do sort of try to keep some of that in the east. Okay, we're going to end the episode here. I want to thank you all for watching. Thanks for liking the videos. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. And of course, I love hearing from you, so please post questions, comments, suggestions. See you next time for more Hearts